From the mountains to the valleys to the skyscraper mass of metal and glass, a gracious what up to you. I'm interviewing Joan Witham, who is fighting for the custody of her granddaughter. And she is spreading the message to all grandparents who are fighting for the custody of their own grandchildren. Joan, welcome.
Thank you.
What is your relationship with your granddaughter, and how can you rub that off on other grandparents who are fighting for the custody of their grandchildren?
My relationship with my granddaughter is that we were like mother and daughter. She's my granddaughter, I'm her grandmother, but I had her 99% of the time. I raised her as my own daughter. And I want to say to you grandparents out there that have grandchildren living with you, you must file for custody. That's the reason I lost custody of my granddaughter, is because I really didn't have legal custody of her. I just had her living with me. And the reason she was taken from me is because I didn't have the legal custody. So I recommend that you people out there that don't have custody of your grandchildren, make sure you get it if they're living with you. Also, my daughter was not looking out for the best interests of my granddaughter, so social services was called. I am the one that should have got custody of my granddaughter. And I am willing and able and financially set up to take care of my granddaughter and to adopt her.
Were you involved with her an awful lot, Joan?
I was involved with her all the time. When she lived with me, she was never out of my sight except for school. And I even paid for private school for her 1 year. I'm not worried about the money. I'm just concerned about my granddaughter and her well-being. I was involved in everything in her life. People that knew us, and there was a lot of people that knew us, said she was like my shadow. I was there when she was born. She was premature. I would go visit her because she had to stay in the hospital. She fought for her life like she's fighting for it now. I need justice for my granddaughter. And she would sleep on my chest. I had a crib next to my bed, but she never slept there. She slept on my chest. And she just wants to come home. She's fighting for justice, and I need justice for her, not blind justice.
Did your granddaughter live with you?
Yes, she did, for 8 years. 99% out of the time she lived with me. Like I said, we did everything together. It's very painful for her and I to be separated. When she cried, I cried. If she was hurting, I was hurting. I'd rather suffer than her. You folks out there know how it is. You have grandchildren. You love them like I love my granddaughter. I hope you will step up when you see this and not only fight for yours, but help me to get my granddaughter back.
Did you get to see your granddaughter walk and talk and do things that children do? And how can grandparents have that same experience you did?
Well, like I said, spend all the time you can with them, every moment, because you never know if they're going to be taken away like my granddaughter. I spent every moment I could think of with her. It was too precious to me. She was my everything then. She loved church, especially, and they took her away from that. She loved being in the choir. She loved doing all the things that kids love to do. Swimming, ice skating, all the activities. And there was many activities in the church for her also.
Did you take your granddaughter to school?
I not only took her to school, I attended school with her some days. Some days I went during the day and just spend the day there. I attended her activities in school, her plays. I paid for her clothes. I financially supported her while she was with my daughter, while she was with me. while she was with the other two people after me. I supported her mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, every way you could think of.
Did your granddaughter have a good childhood? And how would you encourage other grandparents to let their grandchildren have a good childhood?
She had a great childhood. She was always playing. I even played house with her. She would make me tea. I bought all the little things that she needed to learn how to keep house. She would keep house with her toys as I would do my work. Because when she grows up, I wanted her to have that character in her, how to not only have good hygiene, but how to keep house and for when she got married. And I know she's just a little girl, but she loved it. And I taught her how to iron, how to wash clothes, how to cook, how to do everything that us women teach our granddaughters and our children.
What kind of future do you want for your granddaughter, and how would you encourage other grandparents to make sure their grandchildren have a better future?
Well, the best way for them to have a better future is the Bible says, bring up a child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. So I brought her up in the church as a baby, up until she was 8 years old. And like I said, she loved going to church. She loved doing the activities there. And I would encourage you people to spend a lot of time with your grandkids, homework, activities, praying with them, whatever they're going through, to just try to deal with it with them, because their emotions are very, very important to them.
What about doctor and dentist visits? And how would you encourage grandparents to raise up their children to be happy, healthy, and successful children?
Well, to be successful, I know they need to attend church. They need a good education, and make sure that you don't let nobody take your children from you, because you don't know what's happening to them. They're out of sight. They're not out. She's not out of my mind, but she's out of sight. So I just got to continue to pray for her. And I would encourage you people to fight the battle like I am. If you have the problem of them taking your children or grandchildren away.
Who would you say your granddaughter would much rather live with?
I know she would say me, because like I said, I raised her 99% of the time. Her maternal grandfather overheard her talking one day, and she was telling another little child, if I get to live with anybody, I hope it's my grandma. I pray it's my grandma. Also, we went to a field trip of hers, a field day, and she ran to me instead of to her mother. So her maternal grandfather and his sister, which had custody of her last, were shocked to see that she ran to me, and they know that we love each other dearly.
What do you think about you and your daughter being separated, and how would this affect your granddaughter?
Well, she is like my daughter, and this is affecting her horribly bad. They want to send her to that anger management, but she's angry because she wants her family. She wants her grandma, me. She's devastated. She asked me one time, Grandma, why did they take me away from you? We had a last visit in December. This December will be 2 years. We had a goodbye visit, which was so devastating. I cried through the whole thing, but I didn't let my granddaughter see. She seemed pretty happy there because she got presents from Grandma. I took her presents for her birthday because it was on December 8th, and I took her presents for Christmas. I have a bedroom at home all set up for her that I decorated myself, and I showed her the pictures, and she said, oh, Grandma, I could hardly wait to come home. Please, you people, I hope you'll step up and help me to fight for my granddaughter, and I'll be praying and fighting for yours.
Out of out of all the 10 questions I asked you, how can you pass that on to grandparents who are fighting for the custody of their grandchildren? And how is that an inspirational message for grandparents to push for the custody battle?
Gotta have the inspiration, because if you give up, you're going to lose the kids forever. I was told some of the children you never see again. Can you imagine how devastating that is to children? I pray for all the little children that need to be back with their parents, that were wrongfully taken away from their families. We need to speak up and we need to fight. This is a battle that belongs to the Lord, but we're in the fight because those children were given to us for us to love and take care of and to cherish them and to make sure they're healthy and safe.
And that's what it's all about for the first installment of a series of videos helping grandparents fight for the custody of their grandchildren. We'd like to thank Joan Witham. Thank you for taking time out of your day to be interviewed by me.
You're more than welcome.
The story is not over. We'll keep on this story until grandparents and Joan get custody of grandchildren. Until then, this is Brian Scoop Nemeth reminding you that life is a cheerful buffet with desserts for taking action, so don't fill up on negativity bread. See you next time.